Hi guys, this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. So we are here for another one of our mass making sessions. We are up to week number 219, would you believe? Now I'm glancing at my iPad to make sure I call these the right thing. So we're week 219. So for those people who don't watch our channel, we are doing reruns. So we did the first 100 weeks, we then did another 100 weeks, and now we're doing the third lot of 100 weeks. So we are making pockets with flaps is what they are called. So pockets with flaps for your junk journals. Now I have done something slightly different this time. So what I've done is I've taken my printables and I've printed them 4 to a page because they're going to be, you know, a good size to use as my base pockets. Now I also have done what I did a couple of weeks ago when I made the little packs to put onto my website of the exact things that we're going to use here, so that if you wanted to craft along and actually make things the same as what I'm making, you can then just download it as a complete set, and obviously it's then going to be slightly cheaper than if you were buying individually from my Etsy shop. So yeah, I have got basically these 3 printables, which is a combination of my Regency collection, and you don't just get obviously these that are here, you get the full set of the Regency collection, and if you wanted to see the full set, they're on my Etsy shop. So you get the full set of the Regency collection, you get the full set of the muted lace in the pinks and purples, and then you get the full set of the botanicals collections papers. So I mean, altogether I don't know how many papers you would have then, but something in the region of probably like 50 or 60 background papers. So they're download 1, and then I also have compiled a download 2, which are the things we're going to be using to decorate. So, and they consist of my coloured book plates, which again, you get several pages of these. I can't remember how many pages, but something like eight pages or something like that. My bright butterflies, which again, they're I think 3 pages, and then my botanicals, beautiful botanicals, which I think again are a 3-page download. So yeah, they are going to be a second download on my again website. That's shabbydabbydoodah.co.uk. I will put the links below. So you'd have this set, and you'd also have the background papers. So again, you know, if you just wanted the, you know, the bits we use to decorate, they're a complete set. If you just wanted the collection papers, they're a complete set. And like I say, they are, you know, discounted from what they would be buying them individually from my Etsy shop. So that's the first note. And the reason I'm doing that is because I obviously had feedback after I did that last time, and had, you know, feedback that actually that was a good idea. And a couple of ladies messaged saying they found that really helpful, being able to just go and grab exactly what I'd used, and, you know, then being able to recreate what I had used and created in the video. So that being said, right, what you're going to need. So you're going to need some papers. Like I say, I'm using these. You do not have to use these, of course. So all I would say is for your base pockets, you're going to want something slightly thickish. So I have printed mine onto 250 GSM paper. This is photo quality paper. Well, it is photo paper, but it's much thicker than regular paper. So I have printed mine 4 to a page because they're going to be a good size for using. Now I've cut out some here just to show you. So these are going to be my base pockets. Okay. And then also what you're going to want is some other pieces to use as kind of foldable flaps. Now, again, I'm thinking I will probably use, you know, patterned paper, but you don't have to. So you could definitely use coffee dyed blank, you know, plain paper. In fact, I think that is what I used in the previous video. You could use, you know, food colour paper. You could use anything you like. If you wanted to use book page or anything, I personally would back that onto something so it was slightly thicker. But again, it's up to you really. So you're going to need your paper. You're going to need some glue. I'm just going to be using my 3-in-1 glue. Whoops. You're going to need either scissors or a paper trimmer. So I do not like to use a paper trimmer, so therefore I'm going to be using my scissors. If you wanted to kind of use a scoreboard, use a paper trimmer and all that, then obviously, you know, if that suits you better, use that. Then I've got my Distress Oxide. This is Vintage Photo, and I've got my blendy tool. Again, you don't have to blend your pieces, you know, you don't have to do any of that. And the other thing that I probably will do at some point is I will coffee dye the bits that are fold out flaps. That's because I don't really like them looking stark white. But again, I'm not going to do that just yet because I don't want to do it until I know which bits I'm going to be using for the flaps. So that's that. Now, how do we make these? Let's have a look. So I'm going to use a couple of the ones that I have cut out already, just to kind of like save a bit of time for you guys just watching and, you know, feeling really bored. So let's take this, for example. So this is the Pale Lace, and this is obviously the Regency collection. Now, I'm thinking these go quite nicely together. Which way round do we want these? Oh, I can't decide now. Oh, it's both really nice, isn't it? I'm not sure. I think I might have it this way round, which is a shocker, actually. I thought that I was going to go for it the other way. But yeah, I think I'm going to have it this way round. And I'm going to fold this in because what we want is I like to have a little bit of a space around the edge. So I'm going to fold it in approximately here where I'm going to have my flap. So like that. And then what I'll do is I'm just going to mitre this just so that you don't really see, you know, the bit that's kind of tucked around the back. Okay, and then I'm just going to, I'll have to re-mitre it actually because it needed to come in quite a bit because it was quite wide. So take my piece down. Oops. Hopefully. Okay, so it's just going to look like that. So I'm just going to re-mitre this because as you can see, I've kind of cut it off completely. And then I've got my cup of coffee dye. And when I say coffee dye, it's literally just some black coffee that I keep here behind my desk. And I'm just going to grab, actually a wet wipe this time. So when I spread the glue and use the wipes to spread the glue, I use the dried wipes. But for this, the reason I'm using a wet wipe is because this photo quality paper sometimes can go very dark. So I don't want it to be too dark. So I'm just going to get sort of bare minimum colour, if you can see that. Okay, and then, I'd best let that dry actually. But all you're going to do is hinge that onto here. So you've got your pocket and you've got then your flap. So I'm going to leave that to dry for a second. And I'll just make a second one just to kind of run you through so that you know exactly what we're doing. I mean, obviously it's not very complicated or anything, so you probably don't even need really a second run through, but I will, you know, I will run over it once more. So again, I'm going to take this gorgeous piece from the lace collection and then here, the Regency collection, again, trim this down. Like that, okay. And then hook this over. So take it kind of where you want it roughly and then just place your fold. So again, I'm going to just fold it kind of here-ish. There we go. Like that. And then I'm just going to again mitre these corners. I mean, the mitering, that's kind of like a, you know, not an optional extra exactly, but you know, you don't have to do the mitering. I do it sometimes because if you just have it folded round, sometimes you can kind of see a little bit of sort of bulk here. So if you do the mitering, it just lessens the, you know, the likelihood of having that. Again, I'm using the coffee dye here just to get a little bit of colour on here, just so it doesn't look stark white. Stark white when I'm gluing it on. So again, I'm going to just now leave that to dry for a moment. So pop that to the side. So I'll pull this one back in. It's not dry obviously, but it's a bit drier than it was just now. I mean, that's negligible to be honest, how dry it is. But anyway, so I'm going to just use my 3-in-1. Oh, don't tell me I've got glue problems with this now. Oh my goodness, what is going on? Oh, right. Oh, I'm going to have to just use my poke tool now to unclog my glue. this is obviously the first thing that I've been doing craft-wise this morning. So been spending most of the time printing and selecting my pieces for today's video and things like that, and then, you know, putting them in zip files and things to be able to put them on the website. So that's taken up a couple of hours. So yeah, I've been very unproductive this morning in terms of, you know, actual getting crafting and getting videoing. There we go. So we just then press that down. Let me just grab a dry wipe. I've got one here on the floor. Yeah, it slipped off of my desk yesterday. Right, okay. So there we go. And I would just press that down like that. There we go. And that's it. That's all that you're doing, is literally hinging on a little opening flap like that. Okay, so they're really nice, aren't they? Very simple. We'll just yeah, gonna have to cut this down a bit because it's looking a bit wonky on there. Okay, there we go, like that. So they're really nice, aren't they? So that's that one. So that's all that we're going to do. So I'm going to start by, I need to obviously cut all my papers down into the, you know, the rectangular pieces. And then we're going to assembly line these. So when I say assembly line, I'm basically meaning we're just going to, you know, mass make them as quickly as we possibly can. So all the stages in the same order, if you see what I mean. So I'm going to do all the cutting, then do all of the making the flap, all of the coffee dyeing, and then all of the gluing the flaps on. So that's kind of the most efficient way to do it. And yeah, hopefully we'll just have a lovely time, have a relax and a lovely catch up. So yeah, so I'm filming this on the Monday, ready to go up for you guys on the Tuesday. It is still Monday morning, but to be honest, it's later than it should be. I like to film these really early normally, first thing, but like I say, actually putting together kind of a little pack and then, you know, sorting the files out and zipping them up and popping them onto the website takes kind of a good couple of hours. So that's already zapped up quite a bit of my time. So it's actually nearly lunchtime now. So it's not half term anymore. So last week there was no mass making, and it had been bank holiday, so that's why there had been no mass making video. So I do apologise for that, but hopefully you enjoyed, you know, the alternative video. But today, so it had been half term, and today is an inset day, as we call them here. I don't know really whether they would be like teacher training or, yeah, I don't know what you'd call them, perhaps in other countries, but basically the school is closed to the pupils. I assume the teachers are in doing things. So yeah, my daughter is home still, but she will be back tomorrow. So yeah, apologies if you hear her out and about around the house. So she's obviously doing things. Okay, let's just grab the other ones. There we go. So, and this is the botanicals collection. Now I am cutting these kind of like 2 pages at a time, so I might end up with quite wonky looking bits that I have to sort of trim up and straighten up, but I'm thinking that's still probably quicker than cutting them, you know, individually. So just going to be cutting them like that. Okay. Like that. Yeah, I just thought something flowery would be fun for this. So hopefully they're going to look really, really pretty when they're done. Okay. And then these ones. Okay, they come together very quickly, these pockets. So hopefully you're going to like them and, you know, be able to make a ton very quickly. There we go. Okay, So I hope that everybody has had a good week. Obviously didn't get to chat to you last week in the mass making sessions. I mean, obviously, although there've been other videos, the other videos are filmed ahead, and so I don't feel like they're quite as live as this is. I know it's not live, but, you know, it feels like it's live because it's in kind of like as close to real time as possible. So, you know, we can actually kind of have a proper catch up. So what have I been up to? Well, the weather has been hit and miss again. So we had that brief spell of a heat wave, and yeah, it's pretty much gone now. Having said that, yesterday was gorgeous. Now, people have been saying to me all of last week, oh, but next week's going to be lovely, because the half term wasn't lovely. In fact, it was pretty cold on a few of the days. But yeah, lots of people kept on saying, oh no, next week's going to be lovely. Well, I have to say, looking out there right now, it's not looking lovely. It's looking rubbish. So yeah, let's hope that it's going to cheer up. But I mean, at the moment, it's not great. Last week was, yeah, quite chilly a lot of the time. So it was pretty disappointing. And yeah, I mean, when you think, you know, that we are now, you know, into June, I mean, I feel like the weather should be improving more than it currently is. Do you know, I'm going to, I think, mix the Regency with those botanical papers. I mean, that's like a bit of a brave choice, isn't it? But I actually quite like that, to be honest. So I'm just going to kind of like marry up the sets that I'm going to be putting together, I think. And to be honest, there's no reason why you couldn't, you know, actually have some plain ones with plain. Let's do, thinking, have I got a purpley kind of toned one? Yeah. Oh, that's that. Yeah, I think that would look quite nice. So I'm just going to kind of put them like this while I'm laying them out. It's quite nice, isn't it? So, yeah. And then let's put these ones. And the other thing is, you don't have to have them landscape. Obviously, the two that I've made so far, we've had landscape. But you don't have to. Oh my goodness, doesn't that look gorgeous together? You don't have to have them landscape. You could, you know, you could mix it up and have them portrait, you know, if you wished. So yeah, that's kind of a quite nice variation. Oh, that's lovely together, isn't it? Quite a nice variation. Oh, that's lovely too. Yep. Okay. That's quite good. Right, this is where I'm going to now suddenly think, oh, I've now not got the best combinations left. I mean, not that it really matters, to be honest. I'm sure it will all look fine once they're inked up and things. So that one's quite nice. This one, yeah, put with backs. That's obviously lilac and lilac. So yeah, that looks good. And then this one, do we think that goes okay? I mean, it's not the best, you know, I will be honest, it's not the best, but it's okay, isn't it? So yeah, weirdly enough, I'd taken the lace thinking I would have the lace as the top layer. But you know, I'm actually thinking the lace as the bottom layer, because I'm loving, absolutely loving having the, you know, the more fancy one on the top. So yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Now, like I said, you don't have to have them all off to the side. You could have them, you know, top or bottom. I'm going to have this one to the side, but we might do some variations. So let's just stick with our, you know, sideways at the moment. So what I'll do, I'll trim these down. Like that, okay. Oops. Not got that very straight. I mean, again, it's not the end of the world, to be honest. I'm sure it's fine. Miter that corner in, and like I say, the corner miter in, that's a sort of not an optional extra exactly, but you know, it's a, you don't have to do that, but if you remember, it's sort of just, you know, something quite handy to do. Right, loving this one. Now this one, I'm actually wondering whether we might have this as the foldy up flap or something, or I'm actually loving this way up. So made an appalling job of cutting this. It's not straight at all. So So just go in and trim that down like that. Okay. Oh, what do we think? Shall we have that as a top flap? Yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to fold that one over there. Whoops, like that. Again, I don't think I've made a very good job of doing that straight. It's, oh my goodness, like the wonkiest thing I've ever seen. Let's have a look. Right, well, it looks pretty wonky, but this is obviously even wonkier because it actually doesn't look too bad. So let's take that down here. Might be too wide at the moment, but okay. So, oops, that would just go onto there like that. So they're quite nice, aren't they? That you can, you know, vary your styles and how you have your flap. There we go. So yeah, what else have I been up to? I'm trying to think now. So, is there anything worth talking about? Probably not, if I'm truthful. Yeah, nothing really springing to mind. So, what have I been watching? So I've been watching something called Red Eye. Now it's on ITVX. So anyone who's kind of not in the UK, I think you can get this thing BritBox, and I think you can get ITVX on BritBox. So if you were kind of like thinking, oh, I wouldn't mind watching that, you might be able to pick it up on there. It's quite good. I'm up to episode 4. I think there's 6 episodes or something. So yeah, it's not a huge series, but I think there's about 6 episodes. But it's quite good. I don't want to give the kind of game away really, so I can't say too much because it would definitely spoil it. But let's just say it's got unexpected turns, twists and turns. So yeah, kind of a bit intriguing. It's like, oh, did not see that coming. So yeah, would recommend that. Can't remember who the man is who's in it either. Definitely I've seen him in other things, but I couldn't tell you what. But that's on ITVX. So yeah, quite enjoying that. What else? Haven't been to the cinema at all or anything. My son and I really love going to the cinema. We haven't done that at all because, to be honest, there's nothing on. We're in that summer season, you know, where there's just like nothing worth watching, which is such a shame. But yeah, well, it's such a shame because it's not nice weather. You know, I think the presumption is, you know, oh, in the summer everyone's obviously outside. Well, not this year because it's not really lovely. So yeah, I haven't been to the cinema at all. I do keep checking to see if there's anything coming up, but to be honest, there's not even anything really coming up, which is so disappointing. Yeah, just really, really disappointing. Yeah, do we want this one sideways, or should we have this as a sort of, we could have this as a fold downy flap, to be honest. Do you know, I actually can't tell which is the, there we go, right. Yeah, so I mean, you could even have them fold in with a down flap. So if I just do this one, oops, like that, and we could just, whoops, pop on a flap like that. Okay, and again, I'm just going to trim that down because it was obviously very wide. I mean, aren't they lovely? That would just flap down like that. So, you know, they're really nice, aren't they? Just a kind of bit of a different thing, really. So this one, that's a shame, isn't it? Because I want to have it like that. Just cut that border off. Yeah, how weird. I genuinely thought that I was going to be using... which way round do I want that? Yeah, I think like that. I genuinely thought that I was going to be using... Oh, hang on. I have to go over because, look, I've got some other printing on the back. So, don't want that showing. There we go. Right. Let's cut that down quite a bit at the top. Yeah, I genuinely thought that I was going to be using the lace collection as the top pieces. And I don't know really why I've changed my mind, but definitely, I think they look really lovely like this. You know, with the patterned paper on the top. Oops. Like that. Okay. Right, this one, for some reason I've put it like that. So should we have it with the lace on the top for a change of effect now? Yeah, gonna put it in there, I think. Like that. Okay. There we go. So yeah, it's actually been quite chilly, to be honest, at times. So on Friday night, it was just me in. So, you know, quite often it's like me and my son, or, you know, me and my daughter or whatever. But it was just me. So do you know what I did? So awful. I took my whole craft mat here. I lifted it into my bedroom, you know, onto my bed, and did crafting in bed with my electric blanket on, because it was so cold. I mean, that's not good, is it, for this time of year, that it's so cold that you're actually in bed with your electric blanket? But yeah, it was so cold. So and do you know what? I had the nicest time, because I watched 3 girly films. So what did I watch? I watched Sex and the City movie, the second one, and I watched something I hadn't heard of before, and I can't actually now remember the name of it. Oh gosh, something about some sort of Irish ladies, and they went to Lourdes, you know, or Lourdes, or I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but you know, in France. So yeah, that was quite a good film. Never heard of it. Like I say, you know, it must have either gone straight to Netflix, or perhaps it was produced by Netflix, I'm not sure. But anyway, that was quite a nice little film. Again, sort of quite a girly sort of film. And then what was the other film I watched? It was an Anne Hathaway one. Again, something I hadn't heard of before. I think it was called The Idea of You. And it was actually surprisingly good, because when I put it on, I thought, you know, this would probably be really rubbish. It's actually pretty good. So, yeah. But I had like such a lovely time. So, I mean, 3 films. You can picture how long I was kind of like, you know, in bed watching movies and just crafting. And yeah, just really had a lovely time. But it was so cold that I literally was actually under the duvet with my electric blanket on, which is how cold it was. So, you know, it's not feeling summery weather at all. Which, I mean, how disappointing is that for this time of year? I mean, admittedly, I am someone who feels the cold a lot, but I mean, that's just ridiculous, isn't it? Okay. And the weekend before, so I've suddenly remembered now. Yeah, the weekend before, it was the bank holiday, like I said. So on the Sunday night, my friend, he messaged me, and this is my friend from the gym. And he messaged me and he said, oh, do you want to go for a power walk in the morning? So I said, oh, you know, okay, yeah, we can. So he said about somewhere that's probably like 20 minutes drive. So I said, yeah, sounds good. I'm just going to coffee dye all the pieces that are going to be the flaps. So again, just using that wet wipe so it's not too, you know, too dark. So like that. Now I'm going to have to spread these around a little bit, only because otherwise if they're all piled up, they're not really going to dry. So yeah, he'd said, oh, do you want to do like a power walk, you know? So I said, oh yeah, that sounds fun, you know. Oh my goodness. So we drove there. This was 7 o'clock in the morning. So we drove there, and then when we got there, it was looking really black. Well, it had even started raining when we were in the car. So he said, oh dear, you know, it's looking a bit like rain. So I was like, So we got there. Of course, nowhere was open because it was still only like 7:30. So it was like, oh, what should we do? So we managed to go into somewhere for a coffee. And then it looked like it had cleared up a bit. So we said, well, should we venture out? So we did. So we must have walked, let's say, an hour. Went in, had another coffee, like at the, you know, midway point where we were going to turn around and loop back. Oh my goodness. We were walking back, and we'd only been walking for about 5 minutes. The heavens opened, and yeah, it just poured like torrential rain at times the whole way back. So we must have been walking for a good 50 minutes in the rain. I can't tell you how drenched I was by the time I got home. So it was just kind of hilarious. I mean, to be honest, it was freezing cold. We got in the car, you know, and then had the heating on, had heated seats on, you know, it was proper awful, you know, and this is our summer. It's just like, what is going on? So I got home and then jumped in the shower. I mean, by this time it was about 11:30, I suppose. Jumped in the shower and then got myself dressed into my clothes with my onesie over the top because I was so cold. It was just horrible. It took me about 2.5 hours to warm back up from that. I mean, how rubbish is that? But, oh, you should have seen us. Honestly, we were like absolutely drenched. Like completely drenched. You know, when it's right through to your underwear. It was like that. So, yeah, not really a great idea. I mean, he did laugh. He said, oh, next time that I message you and say, do you fancy a power walk? You won't be up for it. I was like, oh, not the best idea, to be honest. But you know, you couldn't tell that because obviously, because I mean, I'd looked at the weather before we left and right, I'm going to grab this one. This one was the one that I'd done first. So the glue is now dry. So I'm going to just glue this on. Yeah, I'd looked at the weather before we left and it actually didn't say that it was raining. It, you know, I mean, it wasn't looking warm or anything, but it didn't say it was raining. So they really failed us on the, well, it's the Met Office. Oops, the Met Office weather app that I've got. So yeah, they really failed us on that, I must say. But oh my goodness, what a load of rubbish. Absolutely awful. So yeah, that was kind of last weekend's, well, that was the bank holiday Monday, you know, when I should have been filming the mass making. And, you know, I don't film them on a bank holiday because invariably, you know, other things come along and then I don't end up kind of getting around to doing it. And that was what came along last week. I would have been better off doing the mass making. So now I should have really mited all my corners at the same time, mass making assembly line style. But of course I forgot to do that. So I'm just going to have to do them as we go. I mean, like I say, they're not an essential thing to do. They just make it slightly neater. So, you know, they're not kind of, you don't have to do them at all, but you might like to do them because they just give you a neater sort of finish. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, oh look, I did mite that one. That was our bank holiday Monday. And then, I can't remember whether I did anything else, to be perfectly honest. I don't think I did. I actually don't remember what I did, to be honest, on the bank holiday Monday. After that was just my low light of the day. Yeah, I can't really remember anything else that I did, to be honest. So that was the Monday, and then yeah, I can't remember anything else about that whole weekend, which is, oh, on the Sunday. So on the Sunday, went with my daughter. I said, oh, let's take Bo out somewhere like for a walk. So we went over to this lovely sort of park. They've got, like, they play polo, you know, that sort of horse, you know, polo. So yeah, it's quite posh there. So it's about a 20-minute drive from where we live. So anyway, somebody had said about it to me and said, oh, you know, because they've got a cafe there and you can take the dog. So I thought, oh, you know, how nice, we'll be able to take the dog. Well, it was chock-a-block. So we got there, it was really busy. So we just parked, you know, like on the entrance. Luckily, there was a space as we pulled in, because otherwise I think you would have struggled to get into the car park. Anyway, again, we got out of the car. So this is before the power walk, you know, on the bank holiday Monday, because this was on the Sunday. We got out of the car, started on the walk, and within 10 minutes, it started raining. Now, I have to be honest, it wasn't torrential rain. It wasn't like the power walk with my friend, you know, that we got absolutely drenched. So when it was just me and my daughter, we kind of, yeah, just got a bit, you know, a few spots of rain. So it wasn't too bad, but, you know, it was still not great. Nobody wants really to be rained on at all, do they? But I'm just going to take this in further, because I might just cut this one down slightly. There we go. Yeah, anyway, so we just did a small walk. We'd taken Beau's ball with us. So we just sat down kind of on the grass, and yeah, like, you know, we walked along, sat down then on the grass, like on a sort of cricket field. They were some people playing cricket, but they were kind of over the other side. So we sat down with Beau, threw her ball to her. My gosh, she was having a lovely time. Honestly, she can't get enough of her ball. She'd have you throwing her ball all day if she could. So yeah, we did that. And then my daughter had taken like some pasta for her picnic. I'd just taken like a couple of naked bars for my lunch. And it was quite early, to be honest, so it wasn't really kind of lunchtime. So I didn't really eat anything, but my daughter was, you know, couldn't wait for her lunch. So she did have her lunch. And then literally within like, say, 10 minutes, you know, of sitting there, chucking the ball, my daughter having finished her pasta, we were like, well, it's pretty cold. Should we go back to the car? So, you know, it was like a, I don't know, 10, 12-minute walk to the car. So, I mean, altogether it was like a 25-minute walk, I suppose, you know, 12 minutes there, 12 minutes back. But yeah, definitely not really what we'd kind of had in mind when I said, oh, let's go over there. But yeah, so it was very unpredictable weather really for the whole weekend. So very disappointing. Which way around was I having this? Was I doing that? Yeah, I think so. So yeah, now I'm just going to quickly ink this because it's just got a slither where it didn't really quite print borderless. Okay. So yeah, that was kind of disappointing. And then we just went and had a cup of tea in like the, you know, the farm cafe. And that was kind of it really. Again, can't remember what else we did that day. Not a lot. Yeah, nothing much. And then obviously it was half term, so didn't really do a great deal then. My daughter had a friend over. I was obviously working. Natalie, unfortunately, was due to come last week, and then she couldn't make it the day she was coming, so she didn't end up coming last week. So apologies if you placed an order. She will be obviously posting those out when she comes this week. Yeah, so that was kind of it. I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who placed an order. I think it was like the week before. I'm not sure whether I've done a video since then, so apologies if I'm rambling on about very old news here. But yeah, thank you so much. And thank you so much to everyone who, you know, has placed an order obviously on my Etsy shop. Really, really appreciate it. So thank you so much. There we go. Oops, like that. Okay. Yeah, I'm just looking out. I mean, actually, it's getting grayer and grayer, so it's pretty diabolical, to be honest. Disappointing and rubbish. There we go. Right. Now, let me just see. Can't actually see how long I've been filming for. Right, how many have we made? We did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we've done 9, which is, you know, not bad. Not as many as I did in the original one. But let's decorate a couple now. So I did print off some of the other papers again, but in, you know, paper rather than the thicker card paper, just in case I want to have kind of any other patterns, if you see what I mean, going on. So just going to take some of these botanicals. Now, for some reason, when I cut these botanicals, I always tend to kiss cut these instead of fussy cut. And for anyone who doesn't know what that means, my understanding is the kiss cutting is where you kind of, you know, go around the edge, but not really close to the image, if you see what I mean. So, I mean, that one's quite nice on there. So perhaps do that one. Let's just see this one. Well, we might even be able to have two. Let's put that there for a minute. Just check that I want to decorate that one, because that one was just happened to be the first one in the pile. Now I'm thinking, well, do I want to decorate that one? Because I might prefer to do a different one, to be honest. Let's pop that there. Oh, might like to do this one. Only because this one feels to me a bit like not the obvious combination. You know, I'm not saying it's kind of like, yeah, the obvious combination with that, but something quite interesting looking about it. And then this one, oh, I was thinking this, but now I'm thinking maybe these. It's hard to say. And actually, I'm now wishing that I'd printed these flowers in bigger size, because to be honest, I actually think I would have preferred them full, you know, full page rather than the 2 to a page. So I might have to quickly run and print some others off. Right, I will be back. Hold on a second. Okay, so I'm back. Now I have to say, what I also did was I've printed off some of the Regency ones with the frames, and I also printed off some of the botanical ones with the frames as well. So I did print them in small at first, and then I thought actually maybe this size. So yeah, yeah, we're going to hopefully do a couple. Oh look, I thought, well, that's strange. I expected to have made more than that. And yes, I had made more than that. I'd forgotten and put them up on the top. So let me just quickly do these. What a woolly. Oh, right. Let's just quickly cut all of these, miter in them, and then I'll just glue them all down quickly. Okay, that one was going to hook onto the bottom, wasn't it? And then this one, just quickly miter those corners. There we go. Right, now, where were we having this? Were we having that there? I think we must have been. Yeah. Okay, right. So let's pop these down. Just quickly get that little bit of glue off of my bottle. Okay, right. Okie dokie. Oh, do you know, I should have inked this, because look, it's got that glue, you know, non-borderless edge again. What an idiot. Oh, just didn't notice it until I came to glue it down, and then I thought, oh, it's not quite as borderless as I'd hoped. Well, hopefully that's, you know, it's disguised a little bit. Okay, that one, and this one, put it here. Okay, but I have to say, isn't my daughter being quiet? So yeah. Oh, she's such a good girl. She's like packed up her stuff, like ready for like swimming and things already, and she doesn't even do that till Thursday. Like, oh my goodness, she's so organized. I'm sure it must be because I'm so unorganized that she's kind of like, oh, I do not want to be caught out and be like mum. So yeah, she's kind of like the other direction completely, like completely the opposite, in that she's really organized. So yeah, which is wonderful for me, because obviously being so shocking, it's a relief that she's kind of so on the ball, because I mean, otherwise I tell you, we would be missing things left, right and centre. But yeah, she's the one who's quite often, oh mummy, don't forget I've got this, or, you know, don't forget I've got that, or, oh, you need to ask so and so about, you know, what time they need to drop me off for, you know, say the school trip or something, you know. So yeah, she's really good, really, really good. Right, okay, so I've made another 3. I can't remember how many I counted them up to, but yeah, we've got another 3 now. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take these kind of framey pieces like that. Ooh, might have to do this one as well. Honestly, again, I'm overestimating how much I think I'm going to achieve, but I kind of like, I looked at the time, obviously, when I stopped the camera, and I thought, oh, got quite a bit of time actually, so we might be able to kind of achieve a bit more than normal. But yeah, I'm probably being way over ambitious, thinking I'm going to be achieving quite as much as I think. But right, so I'm just going to cut this frame down. So this is obviously in the Regency collection. So we'll just take that frame like that. Okie dokie. And I mean, I know I say these things all the time, but don't worry too much, you know, if you're faced with like a frame or whatever, because honestly, nobody really knows what that frame was supposed to look like. Far less daunting than something that, you know, has to look a certain way. So, you know, for me, has to look a certain way is, you know, for example, a flower, you know, well, not a flower actually. No, take that back. Say a dog, you know, like where clearly it's got to have its legs in the right places, or, you know, things like that. A flower, actually, it's a bit like these frames. Nobody really knows what that flower was supposed to look like, because I mean, they're not perfect, are they? Flowers, they're not symmetrical, they're not, you know, they're not perfect. So you can kind of get away with winging it a little bit. Yeah, fancy using flower as my example, and then, you know, as soon as I said the word, I thought, that's not true really. Actually, flower is totally the opposite, in that you can just kind of like winging a prayer, get away with it, you know. Okay, right, so that's my couple of frames. I might not do that one for a minute because I'm thinking we're probably run out of time, but so we could have this one here. Now I'm thinking maybe this flower. So now, although I did print off those larger flowers, because this is going to go in the frame, I'm actually thinking I might just stick with this size for this. Okay. Like that. There we go. Oops. Right, so we'll need to twink around here here, because you know, like I say, I've just kiss cut this rather than, you know, close fussy cut it. So, you know, just the inking just transforms it then. You know, I think it looks fine. So yeah, I know it's quite pretty, doesn't it? Now, should we have it to the side? Obviously, I'm covering up the image that was on there, you know, this image, which is, you know, what I wanted to do. So just ink this up a bit. Unfortunately, my coffee dye's gone through this quite a bit, so it's not as, you know, crisp as I'd hoped. I think it's looking a bit dark around the edges, but that's fine. So then what I'm going to do, I'm going to just take a book plate. Now, do I want, I've got quite a few different colours. Do I want to have like a pink one to tie in the pink? So we could have, for example, this one. Been using these again really a lot lately. They're really nice to use and they go with so many things. Okay. Oops. Not really sure whether I want to have pink or whether I want to go for like a bluey colour. Let's have a look in a minute. So I'll just put this one down here. That's quite nice, isn't it? And then just before I kind of commit myself to that, I just want to check a different colour. So let's try one of these. Okay. Okie dokie. Oh no, I think the pink. It just kind of needs needs that contrast, doesn't it? And then the butterfly. Which colour butterfly shall we have? I think maybe this one. Or maybe a brown one. Take these. Okay, right. Just have a look. So I'll just get rid of my rubbish here. Now I've got some lace here. So I'll just put in some lace. You know me, can't possibly do anything without lace. So, right. Oops. Now we could either put the lace down on here, or we could have lace under here. Don't know whether that's not, you know, too small. So let's just check this out. Actually, I'm just going to tear this down a bit. I quite like the, you know, the torn edges with the lace, to be honest. So just tearing that down. And what we could do is just have, well, I mean, we could even just have a little bit poking out behind the flower, really. Let's just try that. Could have something like that there. Oh, that's rather pretty, isn't it? Now, I don't know whether we would then even want it on here. Do we want it up there? Or... yeah, quite like it like that. Let me just check whether we want the lace under here as well. Might be a bit too much, to be honest, yeah. But what I would quite like to do is, I think, put a couple of brads into here. Oops. So... just using this because it's quicker than doing my, you know, pokey tool, to be honest. Oh gosh, look at those holes. I mean, could I have been any more lopsided if I'd have tried? Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Right, I've got two different sizes in this pot. Of course, the small ones are all at the bottom. Okay. So just poke that through, and then I'm just going to cut these little stems down a bit because they're like too big. So oh, why is this so fiddly? Oh, right. Oh my goodness! Now I've dropped it into my lap. Oh no! Please don't drop on the floor. I will never find it again. Ah! I've got a dress on, so it's kind of caught in the folds of my dress. Oh. Honestly, I thought if that goes onto the floor, I will never ever have a hope in, you know, hope in hell of finding that. So, right. Oh gosh, come on. Right. Let's just pop that on down. Like that. Okay. And then just this one. Okay. Okay. Oops. Okie dokie. Right. Come on, come on, come on. Like that. Okay. Oh, I think that's sticking out slightly. Right. Okay, like that. So how pretty does that look? So I'm just going to pop this down. Okie dokie. Like that. Okay, oops. Press that down. Oops. Okay, now I'm going to put this down here, and I'm just going to hot glue this so that it's going straight over that lace and therefore holding the lace in place. I know we say this all the time, but oh, come on. All right, stay. Okay. Okie dokie. Oh, how pretty does that look? Right, okay. So, you know, these are kind of like, yeah, out of my comfort zone, really. These, you know, selection of papers with the botanicals and things, because, you know, I'm quite a matchy-matchy person. So I've tried to deliberately pick things that I wouldn't have ordinarily put together, you know, to push myself outside of my comfort zone and hopefully create some really different, you know, different looks. So let's just quickly pop this one down. So these are my bright butterflies if you were buying these individually on my Etsy shop. And obviously you get the, you know, the bright colours, but you also then get a sheet of these brown neutral kind of shades, which of course are really handy because they just go with then everything. And again, I've printed these 2 to a page, so, you know, they're actually kind of larger than this. Now, do we want to have it over the flower or like over here? I think actually over the flower. Let's just pop that down there. Now, then do we want to have a bit of lace maybe just poking out from here? Oh, sorry, I've got glue threads stuck all over everything. Everywhere I look, there's glue. Oh my goodness, how gorgeous does that look? So I'm just going to ink around this a bit. Okay. And then just here, oops. Oh, the amount of times that I do this. Must try and remember not to close things when they're still drying. It's just one of those things that I just will never, ever, ever learn. There we go. Like that. Just snip that off. Oh my gosh, how pretty is that? Looks gorgeous, doesn't it? So let's do one more quickly. I don't know now what the time is, but yeah, let's do one more because I feel like we could do one more, to be honest. So let's use one of those big flowers that are printed off. So otherwise there was no point printing those. So right, let's take one of those. And yeah, should we take, sorry, got hot glue threads again. Should we take this one? Right, let's just have a look. Again, I've probably picked the worst 2 to cut out. So, oh, quite like this one actually. Right, again, just kiss cutting this. So whenever I've used these flowers, I've only ever kiss cut these, I think. I don't think I've ever actually close cut these. Now, why that is, I really don't know. Whether it's because they're just quite fiddly, I'm not sure. But weirdly, they just seem to really, you know, work well with that kiss cutting method. They just complement it really well. So let's just take that one there. Oh, I can't stop looking at that one that we just did. That we just decorated. It looks so pretty. Like really out of my comfort zone. Like very unmatchy-matchy. You know, like kind of not things that I would have, you know, picked and put together at all. But oh my goodness, it looks so pretty. Yeah, really, really, really love how it turned out. Actually, do you know what? I've just suddenly thought I'm not going to do this one that I'm doing because it's very boring to do the same style, i.e., you know, with the flap on the side. So let's do one of those ones where we've got the flap up or down rather than the flap on the side. Just because otherwise, you know, we've done decorated 2 the same, haven't we? So yeah, let's go back through the pile in a second and see what other ones we've got. And let's just really hope that it's going to match this flower, because otherwise I've got to cut out another one. So, right, we're not going to use that. So we've got this one. I sold this one's a downward flap. Oh, look, look. What is wrong with me? Must not glue those down and fold them straight up. So we could have that. I mean, it's not the best colour match, but we could probably get away with it unless I quickly cut down another one. Oh, let's just very quick. Okay. Apologies for this. You know, like when you're just having a really nice time and it's kind of like, oh, I really want to decorate a second one now because that first one looks so gorgeous. You know, I don't want to just stop. So, yeah, I just have no choice. I'm compelled to do a second one. I mean, I had been like unrealistically optimistic, thinking we might have done about 3. But yeah, I mean, how ridiculous. As if we were going to have time to do 3. Did I count up 11 earlier that we'd made? And then I found 3, plus I'd obviously made one first. So it's like 15. I actually can't remember. Did I count up 11? I feel like I maybe did count up 11, but who knows? Who knows? Honestly, just memory like a sieve. Okay. Right, there we go. Okay, so yep, that looks fine. Now I'm just going to tear this down just because obviously it was overhanging slightly. So again, just ink around that, and then that just, you know, disguises all those white edges, and it will hopefully then look fine. So like that. Okay. Now I have got this frame that we cut out earlier. I know it's obviously got the blue. Is this a hyacinth? I'm never too sure. I think it might be. My flower knowledge is pretty awful, it's got to be said. But, oops, if we have it like that, of course you can't even see the flower on there at all. So, you know, it wouldn't really matter, would it? We could have it like that. I'm loving how that looks, it's got to be said. Now, book plate wise, oh, I don't know. Let's try this. Don't know whether this is going to be okay or not, but let's give it a try. Don't you sometimes just get like the best results with like the things you least expect? Oh my gosh, doesn't that look gorgeous? Absolutely love how that looks. So again, just going to just ink around there, disguise my shoddy cut in. I'm going to put a book plate in there as well. A book plate. It is a book plate. I'm going to put a thingamabob Brad in there. Okay. Right. And 1, 2, oops, like that. Okay, right. Again, pop that through there. I will have to then snip those stems down. One, 2. Okay, oh my goodness, they're like titchy now. Teeny weeny little stems they are. I mean, you can barely see them. You can barely even fold them up. Oh, look at them. Oh, and my eldest son, yeah, I forgot to say that. So my eldest son, he's on holiday at the moment with his girlfriend. So yeah, they went on, I think they went on Friday. So yeah, so they've gone for 10 days. So hopefully they're having a nice time. They've FaceTimed a couple of times since they've been there. So it looks beautiful. They've gone to Albania, which, you know, I didn't really realise that that was kind of like a, you know, holiday spot. But it's apparently kind of like an up and coming, you know, yeah, holiday place. So yeah, they've gone, they're overlooking the beach. Their, you know, hotel room, it overlooks the beach. It's just like a couple of minutes walk down from the beach. It looks gorgeous. So yeah, they're having a lovely time. Okay, right, let's take this now. Do we want to have, because of course we do want to have lace, don't we? So we could just have a little bit coming out there to the side. So I'm just going to take this here. Right, now. Ooh. I'm thinking actually I'd probably be better off gluing the lace onto here. And that way I know it's going to be showing out from the edge. Whereas otherwise I'm risking, you know, where I put this down, actually, I might put it too far over and the lace not even show. So let's pop that down. Okay. Did I ink this up? I can't remember whether I did now. Oops. Oh, I did. I was going to say I should have done, because I'm sure my cutting was probably not great on there either. But yeah, luckily I had done. Now, I'm sure I've dabbed a bit of glue here. So just wipe that off. And then I'm just going to ink that up. Just because otherwise it's like a big white thingy poking up. It's like that, okay? And then just get the excess glue out. And then here, just going to pop this flower down to the side. And obviously, you know, you can alter these with closures. You could have like ribbons on them. You could have, you know, paperclip closures. You could have, you know, sari silk. You could use baked twine. You could use anything you like. I mean, to be honest, mine personally are lying quite flat. They don't particularly need a closure. But sometimes I think, you know, a closure is kind of nice more from the just adding an extra something. So, you know, although I would say they don't necessarily need one, you might just like to have one because it looks pretty. So, you know, I would say, yeah, I would say kind of just from the prettiness, you might like to have one. Now, it's a bit weird, isn't it, being upside down like that? So let's just see if we want to have this here on the edge. Right, I'm wondering, maybe there. So I'm just going to take this down here. Okay. So again, what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to glue this onto that lace. So that then, oops, you know, I know it's going to be going in the right place. So there we go. And we're going to have that there. So I'll just quickly pop this down straight just with the hot glue gun now. Okay. Oh my goodness, doesn't that look cute? Very, very, very cute, isn't it? And then let's find a butterfly. What did I do with those neutrally butterflies that I cut off? Oh, hang on. Just check what other colours that there are, just in case we prefer to have like a more coloured one. I mean, that might be quite nice. Or one of these. Maybe that one even. Okay. Yeah, for some reason I actually think maybe this one. So let's just take that one down. I think the green is a really good colour match for that green on that Regency paper, isn't it? So okay. So these have not really kind of been decorated at all how I'd planned. So yeah, they've gone off at a tangent, but actually they've come out nicer than I'd hoped. So yeah, let me know what you think below. Do you like them? Do you think they look pretty? You know, because they aren't, you know, typical of what I would put together. Hold on 2 seconds, please. That's just my mum and dad. Hang on. Oh, sorry about that. They were seeing whether I want to go for a coffee with them. So, yeah, I'm going to do that after my video and take my daughter, because obviously she's back at school tomorrow. So it's pretty boring for her otherwise, just sitting around watching me. Well, she's not sitting around watching me do a video, obviously. I was going to put that there as a closure, but to be honest, because it's this way up, it's not working brilliantly. If it was on the side, you could, of course, put it there as a closure, but it's not going to work, you know, quite as I'd hoped, because it's to the side. So I'm going to just put it somewhere else. So maybe there. Okay, let's pop it there. And then what I might do is, because we've talked about closures now, is just maybe add a closure with like some sari silk or something. So let me just go around the edge of here with some ink. Okay, I mean, not that it necessarily needed any ink, but you know, just might as well. So yeah, loving how this looks. Oh, should we have a bit of bling? I just spotted my bling and thought, oh, hang on, we have gone bling free so far. So let's get some bling out. Could have bling on the butterfly, or we could just have it under there. That's quite pretty there, isn't it? Just thinking, now I've got this like offcut of bling. Should we just see if we wanted any on here? Just totally even forgot to put it on here. Didn't even occur to me, but yeah, let's have it there. Why wouldn't you? Everything always looks better with bling, doesn't it? There we go. Right. Okay. Loving the bling. Right. Now I've got to just quickly find something for this. So I do have some pale pink sari silk. Now, can I find it quickly enough? Probably not. Right. Hang on. Let me pause the video and look. Right. It wasn't the colour sari silk that I'd meant. I actually had some like pale pink, and that was what I was actually hunting for. But yeah, for some reason I've misplaced my sari silk. I haven't lost it, but you know, I've misplaced it at the moment. So yeah, let's just go for this. So oops, sorry, it's now all over me. Okay, so yeah, we could have this then just tied around here. Oh my gosh, doesn't that look so pretty? I love how that looks. So pretty. Okay, so oops, just cut that down like that. Okay, now I did also find a bow while I was rummaging around on the floor. Oh, I think it would have to be either or, so either with the bow or without the bow. Yeah, anyway, so yes, that's going to be it, I think. So obviously, if I were going to stick that or use that sari silk, what I would do, it's obviously over to the side at the moment, but I'd get it straight on there, so in the middle, like that. I mean, actually, weirdly, now I've moved it, I think, quite like it to the side, strangely enough. I know that's a bit weird, but yeah, I just quite like it there. I'm going to put it down, in fact. I like it so much, I'm going to actually stick it down. So let's just get rid of this. Some purple sari silk thread there. So I'm going to just glue this straight down here onto the back. Okay, that's slightly twisted, that sari silk, so I'll just straighten it out to get it on there. Okay, oh, it's still twisted, would you believe? Not made a good job of this. Okay, there we go. So yeah, I'm loving that to the side. I mean, I know, strange, but it actually looks really pretty, doesn't it, to the side? So that would then obviously be glued on there. And then if I were then using this on a journal, I would then glue it on 3 sides, and you'd have a top loading pocket and you've got your flap down. Same with this, obviously glue it on 3 sides and then you've got your flap open. You could always put like a journaling spot with some extra kind of coffee dyed paper or something in here, or of course if it's neutrally coloured like this, you could leave it plain. You could put a pocket on here, you know, however you wanted to decorate them. So they're just a really nice versatile pocket, and I mean, as you saw, they come together very, very, very quickly. So, you know, they're definitely a kind of winning one, really. So yeah, I hope that you like them. As I say, I've put the little kits together so they're available, you know, at a sort of reduced rate on my website if you were buying them individually from my Etsy shop. You know, because obviously I don't have to pay the Etsy fees and things on there. So yeah, they're over there. And also, while I'm on that subject, sorry, I have had 1 or 2 messages about restocking a few things. So hopefully later on this week, I've got a journal that I will be putting up into my shop, and also a bit of a restock. So do keep your eyes peeled on my shop, you know, for things that I'll be putting in there. But in the meantime, I really hope that you like these. Let me know what you think. Which one of these do you prefer? I have to say I'm now struggling because I really like how they both look. So yeah, let me know which your favourite is. And yeah, I hope you have a fantastic day. I'd really appreciate it if you could give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks then.